Now it's time for Talking with Joe. Joe Rose is live from the 560 The Joe WQAM studios this morning. Joe, normally we talk about the Dolphins on a Monday morning, but we're going to change things up and go back in time just a little bit longer. We're going to go back to Saturday instead. We got to talk about that shocker at Marlins Park. We got to do it, Joe.
Don't you do it.
We got to talk about it. FIU upsetting the Hurricanes. Let's talk about FIU first, giving them their due. What's your reaction to how well they played and what Butch Davis has been able to do with that program?
Well, let's talk about that. That's what made this win, what they were able to do, unbelievable. They're not having a great season. They were 5-5 going into that game against the Hurricanes. And how about this? They've just been blown out by FAU. That big rivalry between FAU and FIU, Boca and Miami. And then they're able to put together a game plan, came in, didn't back down, and said, hey, you know what? University of Miami, you guys are just an average ACC program, very mediocre. We're going to go after you early. And they did. They jumped out on them and never backed down. And I don't know what's going on. I mean, the first part is congratulations to Butch Davis. Honestly, that should never happen, but it did. It's a huge, huge win for FIU. It felt like three extra wins when you're able to do something like that. But it is, and historically, one of the worst losses in the history of the University of Miami to let that happen. It's embarrassing. It makes coaches look terrible. It's how coaches get fired. Players, are you evaluating or getting the right players? And how do you show up flat, especially, and the thing that gets me, a lot of these players played together. They played together in high school. You think they'd be pumped up and ready to go. And you get that kind of effort where you're down 16-0 to FIU. Then you try to play catch up, too late. You're able to run on them. I don't know. The Hurricane team, I've never seen a team that's as bipolar as that team is. That can look so good against FSU, look so good against Louisville, and then look so bad against Georgia Tech, one of the worst teams in the ACC, and then you lose to FIU.
And Joe, you said this is the kind of
really
game that gets coaches fired. I woke up on Sunday morning and a lot of people were like, okay, so who's getting fired? What's going on? No word from UM yet. So what do you think? Who should be held accountable for this loss?
Well, it's Manny Diaz's job to get these guys ready to play. No matter who you're playing, and I get they watch the FAU tape and they're going, man, FAU's going up and down. Oh, my gosh. Well, you got to be ready to go, and when you're not, it falls on the head coach. Listen, you can't get rid of Manny Diaz after less than 1 year. You just can't do that. Not even Florida State did that to Willie Taggart. They at least gave him almost a second year, which was still not enough. But that's a different story. But you got to give him time. It's bad. The program is what it is. We can't hide anymore. The up and down, the roller coaster. Hey, matter of fact, if you had a roller coaster a lot like this Miami Hurricane season, be a kind of a fun ride. You'd be going way up, and then you go way down. And
up and down. Twists and turns.
It'd be unbelievable, Lauren.
Lots of drama, Joe. All right, let's see what happens. Let's see what they can do.
Crazy, Lauren, crazy. Let's not fire anybody, though, Lauren.
Okay.
Let's not
I don't have the power, so okay,
I'm sure.
I will.
Let's go firing. And, of course, you're sitting there in Florida. You got Coach Mullen. Everything's good up there.
Best in Florida right now. We're the best in the state right now. You got to admit that, right? UF, top in the state right now? Absolutely. Yes.
Top of the state by far.
That's it.
Top of the state.
All right, Joe. Let's see what next year brings. We'll talk to you.
Without any hills.
We'll talk
flat.
to you
All right.
in the next hour. Bye, Joe.